Welcome to Total Football with SportsAdda. Round of 16 has already commenced. Two big teams getting knocked out yesterday. No one expected, the Netherlands to be the one to get, checkmate by the Czech Republic, if I may say. What do you have to say about that game and what to look forward to now for Czech, because they'll be playing Denmark in the quarterfinals? You think an easy way to the semis for them?
Absolutely not. The Danish side have proved to be a powerful force. After Christian Eriksen's incident, they are highly motivated and they will be, motivated to go all the way, if not at least to the semi-finals. So not an easy fixture for the Czech Republic. But speaking about the Czech Republic, even yesterday I had written them off. If you remember, I said,
Yeah.
I believe a 2-0 win for the Netherlands.
Yeah.
But multiple factors over there, so for the Netherlands. One was the team selection, which I felt was a bit off. With Malin starting up top, I thought what would start White Horse, but they went the other way. They went for maybe speed and skill over the attacking prowess of.
Yeah.
But let's see how that different teams are going to take different choices, and that is how they are trying to counter the other team's tactics. Maybe it didn't work out for the Dutch yesterday, and coupled with the red card of Delight.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, a silly foul by him, and the referee had no choice but to hand him the red card. Initially, yes, he did get a yellow card, but VAR overruled it because, rightly so, VAR did give a wrong decision. He was the last man, and he did avoid, or rather prevent, a clear goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah.
So a rightful red card handed out to him.
And it's pretty disappointing, because Netherlands are known to be such a powerhouse of a unit, and getting knocked out to Czech Republic. And in today's time, Czech Republic is not the best teams. It is a very good side, a well-oiled unit, I must say. But in comparison to the Dutch team, it was a very disappointing result for all the Dutch fans and major football watchers as such. But for us, it's good because we are always an underdog. We always support the underdog teams. So fantastic, Czech Republic. Well done, Patrick Schick, once again on the score sheet, and he's made it 4 for the tournament, and he's playing phenomenally well. Moving on to the second game, it was like a bittersweet moment for me because I love Belgium, but I know I love Ronaldo as well. So it was like, who's gonna win, who's gonna lose. It was very difficult to choose. It. Finally, Belgium getting that, just like we said, they need a freak or a moment of brilliance, and that's what Thorgan Hazard provided yesterday. Sid, what do you have to say about the whole game and the way Portugal dominated and Belgium held their nerves in the end?
Absolutely. So if you see, there were changes on both sides. Portugal with the midfield changes within their ranks, and the Belgians, they got in the experienced Vermaelen at the back.
Yeah.
He had a wonderful game, keeping Ronaldo and the likes of Bernardo quiet. So they got an experience to hold the defensive line. Attacking wise, everyone knew they are more than capable. A little worry for Belgium because going forward in the tournament, of course, Kevin De Bruyne having to be substituted, and I believe Eden Hazard might miss the rest of the tournament with a hamstring injury.
Wow.
So a little worry for them. But as I said yesterday, it would be a tactical game, both managers making those changes. Portugal, yes, but they did dominate the midfield battle at times, but finishing was a concern for them. And that's where probably they missed out on probably qualifying and going through. But same can't be said about the Belgian side. There was brilliant all-round hold-up play by Lukaku. He got in the other support attackers, and obviously that goal by Thorgan Hazard was brilliant and deserved to win any game. But kind of disappointing on our end because Ronaldo didn't get that world record to his name, and we thought it'd be a goal fest, but obviously we thought someone would win by the narrowest of margins, and that's just what happened. So a beautiful game all around. Maybe not the goals needed, but a brilliant game of football.
Speaking of Eden Hazard, just when we thought that he has that right, right, what do you say? He's in the right move and he's in the groove, if I may say. He just got there and he injured himself. That's how his, last couple of years have been since he has moved out of Chelsea. So it's very unfortunate and very sad to see that for a player like him. And he really proved it yesterday. He was playing phenomenally. He looked that he got his form back of sorts, but he's going to be missing out the rest of the tournament for now. And speaking of today's first game, Sid, what are your thoughts Croatia versus Spain. So Croatia versus Spain, the first game for the day. Croatians, the World Cup finalists. Spain with all this rich European history, and it's an endless chatter if we have about Spain. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you look at this fixture?
I expect it to be a tough tactical battle today because the Spanish side do have their midfield maestro and leader Busquets back. He made a big impact in the last game in their final
We saw
win.
that.
Yeah, he was given man of the match rightfully. And if you see the Croats, they've got an amazing bunch of players within their ranks, and they're finally stepping up. The first two matches were not up to the standards probably that we expect of them,
Yeah.
but they came all guns blazing in the last match. And I do think it will be a tactical battle because both these teams are more than capable of winning on their day. So let's see how things progress today.
Yes, and you speak of Croatia, you cannot not talk about Luka Modric because he has been excellent for Croatia. And I saw a video yesterday somewhere that it's an old video where people were applauding that he reached he broke some record, the national record
Yeah,
for Croatia. So Luka
most
Modric
caps.
has been very detrimental in the Croatian current bunch, and in the future, like 20 years from now, we will be talking about him as one of the best that Croatia have ever given to the world. So what do you have to say about him? And today could be the day where he can show the world that he is still one of the best midfielders in the world.
Absolutely. He proved that in the last match as well. And if you
Yeah.
see his legendary status for Croatia, not only is he the most capped player for Croatia, but he's also the youngest and oldest goal scorer for Croatia.
Wow.
So he's got
I
multiple
didn't know that.
records under his name. So
Absolutely.
he is someone who the Croats look to for support, morale, everything. He is their leader, and he
Yeah.
is the one who will dictate play today. And his so Modric is, you know, the core of this team today,
Yeah.
and a lot of how they perform will depend on how he is able to perform and bring and
Correct.
motivate the players around him to perform. And another person who will, probably support him with his experience is the left winger Ivan Perisic, who
Yeah.
I believe will be a player to watch out for
For sure.
on the Croat side.
For sure. So you speak of Ivan Perisic, and quickly, if you think of it, there is an interesting battle on the left side of the pitch of Croatia. It will be Spilicueta, the veteran now, who will be playing another veteran, Ivan Perisic. So the battle of the vets is going to be fun, and it's going to be fantastic because Ivan Perisic is known to be extremely creative. And Aspilicueta, in the later half of his career, now at this stage of his career, he's become a no-nonsense defender. Now playing under Tuchel, he's become more tactically sound, and he has become a no-nonsense defender. The way I've seen him, he just throws in tackles. He gives everything on the line. So that's going to be an interesting battle on the left wing of the pitch. But who do you think out and out? Who will be the better one in these two?
It's a tough call. Ivan
Yeah.
Perisic obviously has all the tricks in the book, and he has a lot of things in his arsenal. To get past the defender, take a shot from distance, goes
Exactly.
past defenders. He has everything with him. But at the same time, Aspilicueta's defensive arsenal has just grown over the years. He started off as a right back in Spain, moved to Marseille, then came to Chelsea, has played under various managers, including
Yeah.
Jose Mourinho, who nurtured his defensive nuances and has only gotten better over the years. And like we saw last year under Tuchel, Chelsea were a different defensive force.
Absolutely.
He has grown over the years, and so has Perisic. It's going to be an interesting battle, but
Yeah.
you can't choose one over the other. I think Perisic has a slight edge over Aspilicueta because Aspi will have to deal with the others as well, while Perisic only has, the only motivation he has over here is to attack.
Yeah, he does. And for a striker, you have to get right only once in order to get past the defender. For a defender, you have to always win that ball because you can't, give a mistake of giving the ball away at that position. Now, speaking of a change in the game, it could be Alvaro Morata as well. A player to watch out for from the Spanish perspective because he has been a top scorer, current top scorer for Spain, who's currently being scored. But the fact that he's been missing a lot of chances that have been coming his way. So are there two ways to see it? One could be that probably he's creating or he's coming in such promising places. And the second one is, although he's coming in such promising places, he's not being able to get the finish. So what is your take on this debate if we had one?
So Morata hasn't ever been the prolific goal scorer from say a Lewandowski perspective, but he
Correct.
has an all-round play, and that is why the biggest teams in the world have bought him and played, be it Chelsea, Real Madrid, or Juventus currently, even
Correct.
Atletico Madrid in the middle. But he has the caliber of all-round strikers play. He is a typical centre forward. He does get into the right place. Unfortunately, he's been missing, and it might be a call that Luis Enrique takes not to start him, not only because of maybe the missed chances, but his mental space as well. Because he
Probably.
did come out and say, he's been receiving a lot of threats, not only to him but also his
Yeah.
family on
Very sad.
social media. I mean, that is a separate topic altogether. Social media is becoming very toxic these days for the players and their families as well.
Yeah.
But there has to be a responsibility from the fan side. Yes, we understand, your frustrations, etc. Go give it to the players. That's fine, but not extend it to their family and loved ones, because then it affects them even more, and they're not
That's
able
true.
to perform for you as fans. So hopefully, Morata is able to overcome all this. He does start and gets a goal or two under his belt today.
Yes, and I completely agree with you, Sid, over here because every player who plays for the country gives everything on the line for them. They
Yeah,
don't have any second thoughts about it. That's the passion and dedication that one has when he plays for the country. So there's no question of Morata's efforts and things like that, his commitment as such. But these
yeah,
things are a part of game. Performing, bad performance,
yeah.
winning, losing. But there is a line to it, and I think you rightly pointed out as fans we need to know that where we have to draw the line. So we wish him all the best today. Let's hope that he has a good game today. But if you look at the head-to-head major competitions between these two, it's evenly poised. Dead even. It is 3 games, 1 draw, 1 win, and 1 loss for either of the teams. So this actually doesn't make a lot of sense to me because it's in the past. Like we always talk about, this game today is the day where they will have to prove what their team is made of. So just I want to ask you quickly that who do you think is the better side today, and what are your predictions for this game today?
So while I do think the Spanish side are very exciting, etc., but and even the form that we saw is 3 games played over major tournaments. But I do think the Croats have that little bit of edge due to experience today. I do believe the Croatians will get one over the Spaniards today, because while they're an exciting team, they are a team in rebuild.
Yeah.
There are players who maybe deserve to be in, like Thiago Alcantara, being
Yeah.
kept out by Pedri. He
Yep.
does come in and change the game, but Luis Enrique has a different uh, mindset right now. We'll see how he sets up today, whether Thiago is able to start. But I still think the Croats have that little bit more of experience, as a team. So I think a narrow win for the Croats, maybe 2-1 of.
It's quite debatable, and honestly, because we've seen Spain in the golden generation of Spain, we
Yeah,
know Spain that way. But if you look at this
exactly.
Croatian side, they are no less. You've got Modric, you've got Pesic, you've got Kovacic in the middle. So they've got a good balance and a good core of midfielders, out there. So you can't really, I cannot pick a winner in this team. I'd be happy if Croatians win, but personally for me, it could be Spain as well because of the team that they've had, the youngsters and the experience that they have.
Yeah.
So that was interesting first game. Now let's move on to the second game. It's an even better game, if I may say. It's the world champions France taking on the dark horses or the underdogs Switzerland. So France versus Switzerland. I just want to bring to it, quickly talk about their defensive midfielders for the France. Pogba and Kante. When they play for France, okay, Kante is an exceptional performer everywhere, even for Chelsea, for his country, everywhere. But you speak of Pogba, like we say that he is the split personality kind of a person. He switches on when he plays for France and he switches off when he plays for United. What do you is the difference between these two and when they play for their respective clubs?
So at least from Kante's perspective, he's able to adapt to multiple roles. Okay?
Yeah,
While for Leicester, he played more defensively. While he came to Chelsea, he was asked to play higher up the pitch, and he is a willing learner. Okay? And he
yeah.
does know that he can perform. He does accept his limitations. But even for the French side, he's come and won it all with them. Probably try and get a Euros under his belt as well. That's the hope for his
Hmm.
side. But if you look at Pogba, he needs a certain setup.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I think believe that is his limitation. He's not able to adapt to other roles that might be needed of him or
probably.
other expectations, like at United. Because when he played for Juventus, he was a game changer, a world
Yes,
beater
he
at
was.
that time.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, he's not been able to do it for United. Different managers have come in different setups. Unfortunately, maybe it's a mental thing now that he's not able to perform for United, because that happens as well. You've seen players come into a club not being able to perform. Just like the Ukraine coach Andrei Shevchenko, he was able to perform very well in the Serie A. Chelsea maybe a little underwhelming, even though he was a legend there. But it does happen in
yeah,
certain places. There are different things that affect your mind that doesn't allow you to perform. But
correct.
in the France squad, he is a completely different animal. He's a
Yeah,
beast over there.
yeah,
He's a box to box midfielder completely. Those balls that he is able to play, he does that for United as well, but probably not the attackers are not on the same wavelength. Or there is something amiss, but in the
yeah,
France squad, everything clicks for him. He's
yeah.
able to play those risky balls. He knows Kante is there to defend him. So these two perform very well together. They made an incredible duo, and I think they'll carry France forward in this round.
It is a super partnership. I could refer to as Sachin Sehwag for India. Brilliant. They complement each other really well, these two.
Yeah,
Now, speaking of the Swiss as well, they have played really well in this tournament. Okay, so you can not you have to mention Granit Xhaka and his impact as a midfielder, because he really holds the game and he commands the game. I
absolutely.
watched the matches of the stadiums. Most of the stadiums are not completely full, so you can hear the players talking and giving instructions, and this guy is out there and he's really narrating the whole game and narrating the play, he's dictating the play, where to play, how to turn the ball and
Yeah.
things like that. He's been very influential in this Switzerland journey till the round of 16. So you think that it could be a game of two DMFs ruling the players out of the game, like Xhaka taking one player just out of the game, and Kante similarly for the French team?
Absolutely, but it won't be the onus of Saka because he's going to sit deep. Probably
Yeah,
he'll have to deal with Pogba, but not much with Kante. Kante
Kante,
tends
yeah,
to sit back a little. So
yeah,
DMs usually don't face each other much. Maybe in attacking plays once or twice. But if you look at Zaka, he's a different player, different type of player. He sits back, breaks play up, and he pings those long balls out wide.
yeah,
So he has that ability in him to split the defense on the wings. His distribution is impeccable, and he is captain material, and that is why he's leading the Swiss side. He was a very young captain at Borussia Mönchengladbach. Then he came to Arsenal. He's was captaining them for a while there
yeah,
before an unfortunate incident with the fans.
yeah.
But he has it in him, the experience to lead a team, dictate play from midfield. And he does step back and become a third defender as well at times, depending on the tactics employed by the Swiss team.
So yeah, moving on now, you spoke about the Swiss team and how he has dictated play. Definitely for the French team, we have Karim Benzema. Okay, so he has been amazing. He scored a couple of goals already, and it doesn't look like he never played international football for like 6 or 5 or 7 odd years. He's come back and he has been the same young Karim Benzema that we know, and the one who really goes for goals and scores them for fun. So what do you have to say of him? Is he the player today to make that difference between the two teams and take the attack to the Swiss team?
Absolutely. So, there will be a lot of expectations of him. So that's how he's come into this tournament, and he's not one to be or shy away from expectations because he's been playing for Real Madrid, one of the biggest teams in the world for n number of years. He
11 years now.
is used
11
to
years.
expect. Absolutely, he's used to expectations. He does. He's used to it. Maybe the French side is a different expectation because it's the weight of a nation, but he is used to it. He's chipped in with a couple of goals, a brilliant goal in the last round,
Yeah.
and a penalty scored as well. But they will look for him for all-round play to bring in the others.
Mm. Mm.
Be it Griezmann or Mbappe or any of the other midfielders, Pogba. He will look to bring about that all-round gameplay as a centre forward.
Correct, correct. And you spoke of Griezmann as well. Griezmann playing, against Rodriguez. You think it is an interesting battle because Rodriguez has really stepped it up a notch, and his game has really amped up since the time I've been watching him play for his country. He too is a different player when he plays for his country and his clubs. You think it's going to be an interesting battle, and Rodriguez could have the better of Griezmann because Griezmann has a tendency to just drop a lot, and Rodriguez will get that comfort and cushioning to maintain shape on the left side of the pitch.
Absolutely. It'll be an interesting battle, and even with Griezmann, maybe not the best tournament for
Yeah,
him. With the expectations that he has for himself as well as the nation having for him, but he will look to attack Rodriguez. But Rodriguez is an extremely attacking left back at the same time. He
yeah,
does have an amazing cross under his arsenal, wherein from the left he pings those crosses in, and Embolo and Seferovic will be looking to attack them. So
yeah.
an interesting battle. We'll have to see how they set up because Griezmann might move more central today. Let's see. I mean, we'll have to see how they are set up.
Exactly. The top three are so lethal for France. They are the three best players. Didier Deschamps would want in his side. Okay, now you speak of the player to watch out for. You spoke of Griezmann. You spoke of Benzema. There is Kylian Mbappe, 22 years, 21-year-old guy. He's won the World Cup. He's played in a UEFA, Champions League final. Has won the league. He's been phenomenal. Okay, at such a young age, he's won everything. So you think that that brings him a lot of confidence when he plays such matches of this level, because having won a World Cup, having scored against Argentina in the quarterfinals and stuff like that, it is so simple for him, and he's made it so it's become a method for him, like how you need to go about in a footballing career. So you think it's just another game for Mbappe, and he is going to be the man to watch out for the Swiss team against the Swiss team?
Absolutely. But the Swiss team don't have just one person to look out for. This France squad has everyone. Be
Exactly.
it a left back, centre back, everyone is you know a player to watch out for. But Mbappe is one of the hottest prospects in world football right now. 22 years of age, as you said correctly, World Cup winner, Champions League finalist, League One winner multiple times. But he will be a threat down the left, and he is linking up, or rather, his link up has improved multifold with Benzema.
Yeah.
Usually, he's used
Yes.
to playing with Giroud, who's a different kind of hold up player. Benzema tends to run a little more. So we'll see how that evolves. But I think they have a brilliant partnership between those two, and that might be the difference that unlocks the Swiss defense, which has been stubborn all through this group stage.
Too good, too good. And Swiss, like you said, the word stubborn is actually the correct word for them. And we have seen a couple of shockers in this tournament from different teams, upsets, big upsets. And it
Yeah.
would not surprise me if something like that happens today as well, because that's the whole take of this tournament. The UEFA Euros are really it's not should not be the Euro, it should be a tournament where underdogs are better than the better teams, it's something like that. So you speak of Switzerland, and a lot of hope and expectation is on Xherdan Shaqiri, because he plays on the right flank, and he's actually a floater. He runs everywhere. He needs the ball on his feet, and because of that low ground clearance or low ground level that he has, he's too quick, and he moves swiftly between the defenders and the DMFs and stuff like that. So today you think that he will be playing a withdrawn role, given the fact that he'll have to defend more than attack, and could be a counter goal like we saw with Czech Republic yesterday.
Absolutely. I think he will be a little more withdrawn, but he is given the license to roam by the Swiss side. He does have that low center of gravity, as you rightly mentioned, which allows him to get past players. Even in stature, he's not the biggest players, but he does
Yeah.
end up scoring a lot of goals. He is a threat, and the French team will be keeping an eye out on him.
Definitely. So, you think today Switzerland would try to play those direct balls to Embolo, like you said, Embolo and Seferovic are the people who will be inside the box, and probably Rodriguez could put in crosses, or Shaqiri could punt in a few crosses. Do you think it will be a direct gameplay or an open game like that? Because when you play a team like France, who is so sound, you've got 11 All Stars, like we all talk about. We have
Yeah.
highly ranked them, one of the best teams in the world. Do you think that the game plan for Swiss would be completely different than what it was in the group stages? Because here you just need one goal, and we saw yesterday how difficult it is to get what do you call it, a reaction from the opposite team.
Reaction.
Because, yeah, because once you score, you are gone. The opposition team is panicked, and then the emotions or the nerves take the better of them. So could this be the day where they would look to get an early goal in, and then probably look for direct balls to Embolo and Seferovic?
Absolutely. I think that is something that a lot of teams will look to play. We saw that with Hungary as well. They used to sit back and attack on the counter. But I think the Swiss will do that. They will sit back, try and get a goal. Because what that does is mentally it tells the other team that you need to attack it. Even the defenders take
Correct.
that extra step into attack, and that allows you to hit on the counter even more. You see a
Yeah.
lot of teams who go to attack conceding more goals. So
Yeah.
I think if they are able to notch that one goal, sit and again try and hit on the counter, it will give them more opportunities. But that obviously depends on the likes of Briambolo and Seferovic taking those rare chances that they'll get.
Exactly. Like yesterday's game, it was a brilliant example for from Belgium's perspective. They hardly got a couple of chances. Okay, one from Lukaku, I might say, took an early shot, and one chance here and there. But the chance that you got from Thorgan Hazard, that was a wonder goal. And in big games, you only get one or two chances. Like we always talk about, that's the different. That's the thing about the big games. You don't get a lot of opportunities, and the player who keeps his composure and keeps his cool and uses his experience to create and use that chance. So that is where the difference lies between these two teams. So probably Switzerland need to take the chances that they get. They won't get a lot, that's for sure, but whatever they get, if they get those chances, because France are going to create multiple of them. So it's going to be a very interesting battle, Sid. So I would like to know that who do you think has the upper hand? Chalo, theek hai, we know it's France who has the upper hand, but speaking of the winner, who you think is going to be victorious here, and what's your prediction for today with the scores?
So I think the French team are very solid, and the Swiss have the capability to spring an upset. We've seen that
Yeah,
yesterday. We've seen in the group of death itself. France are expectant. They will be aware because they took Hungary lightly. They probably took the Germans to heart, the Portuguese as well. They were tough games. They know any opposition can kill them off, and now, especially being the round of 16 where it's knockouts, they will not be complacent. They will take
yeah,
every team as the number one ranked team and play them that way. While the
correct.
Swiss, I think, will be a little more defensive and try and hit on the counter. But I think attacking wise, the French are a little too good for the Swiss defense.
This defense,
They
correct.
might be a Swiss army knife, like they have everything in their arsenal, but the French have that in them to pick anything along their way. And I think it will be a 2-0 win for the French.
2-0 for the French. I think most people would agree with you because France is. There are a lot of supporters of France. I've read polls and I've heard people talk. There's a lot of chatter going out here that France is going to win the Euros, or probably they are the best team in the world and stuff like that. So yeah, now with the addition of Benzema, they have got that solitary attacker out there, and we know the impact that France can have on world football. Winning a World Cup final by 2 goals is a big thing. Scoring 4 goals in a final is a big thing. So we know what they're capable of, and playing a team like Switzerland, who are not the most experienced side, they've got good individual talent and they're a good group of players. So today is the biggest challenge for Switzerland, I think, in the history of all the years they've played football. This might be the biggest game of their lives, knowing that they're playing one of the best teams in the world. And a 2-0 prediction from our expert here has already written them off, kind of. But it would be good to see a shocker once again, and probably good luck to Switzerland. Thank you so much for joining with me, Sid. It was fantastic to have you here,
Absolutely.
and I'll see you tomorrow. Some brilliant predictions, and let's hope that it's a day for underdogs yet again. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. This was Total Football with SportsAdda.